When I first heard the news of Solomon's death, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got the call from Nicole's mother. And it really kind of put me into a state of shock, not really clear what to do or how to deal with that type of experience, something really new to me. So I really had nothing to do but lay in bed and really reflect and really just traverse over his life and the life that we shared together. And what I realized really quickly was that Solomon's life was just filled with happiness and positivity, experiences of success, friendship, love. It was actually a surprise to me that the experience just kind of filled my heart with love, and it wasn't something that filled it with despair. I couldn't think of a single action in Solomon's entire life that was mean-spirited or hurtful or wrong in any way. And so in the morning, I just felt, full of love and kind of positive energy, and I think that was a big opening for me and surprise. So I guess I just hadn't reflected on how wonderful Solomon really was as a brother. I'd always loved and appreciated him. But I didn't realize how perfect he was as a brother, and I never experienced any feelings of competition or jealousy, and there was always a mutual respect between us. And I know now that this is very very rare, or at least fairly rare from my experience speaking to others. And so, I think just having this experience to really reflect on Solomon has been really, really special, because I think up until that point I had just been moving through life, just taking for granted that he was there and part of my life. And so, I think of Solomon every day now, and when I do, I really think about the amazing life that he had, and how kind he was to his friends and loved ones. I think about how confidently he pursued his passions, and how effortless it appeared to everyone around him. And I think about how skilled he was at bringing things to a state of completion, of seeing things through. And I think about how much he respected people in general. So now when I think about Solomon every day, I've been trying to apply his teachings to my life, and trying to make a better person, make myself a better person, and appreciate everyone in my life a little bit more. And it's a wonderful reminder to live life to the fullest, and I have Solomon to thank for that. So I'm going to tell a couple little stories. I think that I think an interesting place to start is when I was a freshman in high school. A good friend of mine was an aspiring DJ, and he actually brought a mixer over to my parents' house, and we pulled out a couple of my parents' records and hooked up this mixer to this antique turntable, and tried to figure out how to scratch. And it didn't work at all. The record didn't slide, and it was a complete failure. But I remember my brother was sitting there, and I think he was about 8 years old at the time, and he was definitely curious. I could see that he was curious, and my friend eventually figured out how to scratch, and he went on to be a really successful DJ. And I was inspired by him and followed in his footsteps and became a DJ myself. And when I was about 22, I started a weekly party in San Francisco. And I invited 16-year-old Solomon to the party. And when he was there, I watched him just completely absorb the experience. And actually felt a little bit guilty at that moment of introducing Solomon to this strange world of the nightlife. But it was something I saw Solomon continue to explore and immerse himself in, and I worried about that path for him for a while, just because I felt like he had so much potential for pursuing any path he wanted, and the nightlife, the night scene just didn't seem like the most promising path for him. But soon I realized that he was in a perfect place, and that he was making a huge impact to a lot of people. And I think the second part of this story is a personal realization that I had after many years of DJing myself, going back to Sufi camp with my parents. And this one night we were doing zikr, which is a kind of a spiritual dance. And I had a really profound experience where I kind of became one with everyone in the space, and everyone just got really ecstatic together. And I looked at I don't think it was actually Shota who's leading the zikr, but I looked at the person leading the zikr, and I realized that was the DJ, and that we were all having exactly the same experience as we were trying to create in a nightclub. And it was a real interesting connecting moment. And I think Solomon also recognized that continuation, something Shota mentioned earlier, is really in a lot of ways he was continuing the teaching of his father. So I think we had some really interesting kind of parallel experiences there. So I want to read a quote by Helen Keller, who's I think one of probably Waldorf School's patron saints, who said, I know my friends not by their physical appearance, but by their spirit. Consequently, death does not separate me from my loved ones. At any moment, I can bring them around me and cheer my loneliness. Therefore, to me, there is no such thing as death in the sense that life has ceased. This quote reminds me that the time we spend in this physical reality together is rare, but that all of us will always be together. Our time with Solomon has ended, but we will continue sharing his love and teachings with us for the rest of our lives. With all the sham and drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. I love that Solomon leaves us with the tagline, DJ Solomon makes me want to dance. For me, Solomon makes me want to strive to be happy. And I guess those two pretty much mean the same thing. So, strive to be happy and dance for Solomon. I want to welcome Yonaton. He's going to come and share with us.
Good afternoon. I'm really honored to be here to share this day with all of you. I met Solomon in 1999 through a mutual best friend of ours, named Eli Brueggemann, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But I know that he would really like to be here, and he wrote this really beautiful song a couple years ago called Heaven Only Knows. And so I felt that I would get to share the spirit of Eli today by sharing one of his songs. And it's a really beautiful song, really, really fitting. And then I'm going to play one of my songs. Can you hear this? Can I get a little more level vocal mic? Light in your eyes watches over me, while the rain trickles down my spine. Say it ain't so, but that's the way it goes. Heaven only knows. I got time on my side, but I got no place to go. It's a long, long way home. Oh, heaven only knows where we're going. All I know is where I've been. I wandered till the wind stops blowing. All I know is where I've been. Thank you. So it's called The Boat Keeps Rocking. This is one of my songs. I have wronged so many, I have hurt so hard, the ones that I love in love and of love, it's all the same. A plague brought down with a mighty sword in crimes of passion, and the boat keeps rocking. Ooh, and the boat keeps rocking. Ooh, maybe I've asked for too much and given so little. I don't ever want to do it again. It's time to do the right thing, that's a lie. It's long overdue. Ain't that the truth? And the boat keeps rocking. Oh, and the boat keeps rocking. Oh, when it's time for sleep, when it's time for the bed, what I feel in my soul feeds a voice in my head, which offers me in sacrifice to you. It's been hard lately, it's inevitable that my consciousness will see my recklessness in so many forms, and I'll be reborn once again, once again. And the boat keeps. Oh,
Thank you for being here today. I can't tell you how moved and inspired I am by the continuing love and support from the greater community. Do I sound okay? Perfect. I'm not used to talking into microphones. It's infused me with strength, and it continues to. Each and every person out there sending love, it's felt, and it's solidified my belief that we're all connected. So thank you. These past 8 weeks have been a wild journey. There's many, many stories and experiences that I could sit up here and tell you newfound perspectives and beliefs on life and love. But what I want to focus on today is how strong and vivid my sense of Solomon still is. My goal today is to honor him, to celebrate him, and to share a little bit with you about our endless love. I have 4 pages here, just in case I don't get my point across. Some words that come to mind. These are just bullet points, and then I'll go into my written speech. Are perfect, rad, lucky, enthusiasm, soulmates, marriage, done deal, no question, and a continued sense of peace and love through this process that I feel is just him continuing to give me gifts. A gift of understanding that this is a process where we will only grow from it. Okay, so Solomon and I met in 2003 while we were both working at a nightclub, Suite 181, where many, many lifetime friendships were made. Solomon was and will forever be my favorite DJ. The first time I was really attracted to Solomon was the night I saw him dancing. It was post his shift, and I wasn't working, but we were at the nightclub, and he was dancing with a really sexy Latin dancer, and she was totally into it. And he was not trying too hard. He wasn't even really dancing. Solomon didn't even really dance, but he was keeping up. Like he was there, but he wasn't really dancing. But this dynamic carried itself into our relationship because who Solomon was let me be me, and he let me do my dance. Solomon set the bar in my life in many ways. The way he balanced work, life, he was a true manifester, mastering any task or desirable skill that he set his mind to, and he always had enough time for loved ones and hobbies, definitely enough time for hobbies. His focus and clarity is unlike any I know. When he had an office day, he could just knock it all out. He had an incredible, infectious life energy. What I miss most about him, once again, is his enthusiasm. He was known among many as a fearless leader, captain of the A-team, go big or go home. He knew a lot of tricks of the trade and was eager to share them, like the quickest traffic route through the maze before the Bay Bridge, how to get our own row of seats on a nearly full Southwest flight just for us. We had a couple strategies, but one involved a very, very prolonged kiss over the free empty seat between the two of us. We would just keep making out, no one would ever take the middle seat. The best way to cut a mango to maximize the edible fruit potential. A DJ who knew the exact angle and depth to hold the steam nozzle for the perfect cappuccino foam. Can you see a pattern? Efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. Living life with Solomon was a very rich day-to-day experience. His MacGyver ways, human GPS, was one of my many nicknames for him. Not only did he start this day by saying, "Baby, are you ready to greet the world?" But it was also like having my very own live-in Apple Genius bar. I like to refer to Solomon as a strategic risk taker. He would read the manual literally from front to back and then jump right into it. The perfect balance between a saint and a warrior. Solomon had a deep sense of inner confidence with just the right. I usually got like another page before I started crying, but the right amount of sensitivity. He was always gentle and calm. You're gonna have to give me and so always inclusive, so inclusive. He would have been happy if I had gone everywhere with him, always. And if a group of people was in tow, that would have been okay too. It was just like, the more the merrier. I always want to be with you. I always want to be with everybody. I love everybody. It was, who do we invite to our wedding? Anybody that loves us is okay. Okay, we're getting married in Hawaii, so that not everybody will come, but I was once told that the secret to healthy, long-lasting relationships, Jonathan Lewis here, on a walk in the Castro one day told me, "Nicole, I'll tell you the secret to healthy, long-lasting relationships." It's the ability to flow effortlessly from one role into another. Each person being able to play many roles, and I believe we did this beautifully. Lover to best friend, teacher to student, adventure enthusiast to manager. From strong and independent to eternally connected and vulnerable. He referred to me as the boss and always graciously passed me the baton in my areas of expertise. And I relished watching him what he did best, gracefully riding the waves of life. Solomon and I challenged each other in nearly every realm of our lives. Persistent he was. Solomon knew exactly what he wanted, including me. We didn't always see eye to eye though. Sometimes Solomon wouldn't take no for an answer. But that's where a lot of the beauty took place. Because we cultivated a method of resolving our differences, where in turn we more fully realized who we were as individuals. Life with Solomon has been an endless journey toward knowing thyself, a gift that he's continued to give me. Continuously growing, both together and as individuals, a true team. Solomon had an insatiable need for speed. Like clockwork, he would hit the mountains, the lakes, the racetracks, the bike trails, sometimes leaving me behind in the dust or the powder, with his infamous one-liner, "No friends on a powder day," as I was still lacing up my boots at the car when he walked off to the mountain. But over time, I came to appreciate it because he always came home a happier man. His sense of knowingness, his passion, his tenacity, he was so aligned, so in the flow. And it just allowed me to love him completely and fully because I knew that he was getting exactly what he wanted out of life. And I, in turn, was allowed to feel completely fulfilled and independent myself. Yeah. All right. That's good timing. Okay. Solomon made me a believer in true love. He was the physical and spiritual evidence of a soulmate. He is my inspiration, like Ammon said, to lead a life fully lived each and every day. So thank you, Solomon, for letting me love you fully and completely, and for reciprocating with a love that is much bigger than we are as individuals. It is a love inclusive of many others, seen and unseen. And thank you for giving me the courage and the direction to use my heart, to allow it to stay open through this process, and to let all the love in. That was very clearly sent to me from him. So where do we go from here? How do we continue to live, not forgetting these lessons? Loving and living to our full potential every day. How do we do that? Some words that really stick with me were put together by a dear friend named Joe. Joe, a father himself, is one of Tamam and Shabda's dear friends, one of two dear lifelong friends of theirs that they sent to my bedside in Bangkok. Joe is a lawyer. He lives in Bangkok. He's married to a Thai woman. He arranged the Buddhist cremation ceremony that happened in Bangkok, which I was not able to go, but I saw some great video footage of it. And every day we had conversations about Solomon, about Buddhist views on death and dying. But most importantly, he listened, and he paid attention, and he took notes. And when I got home, he sent them to me, and he said, Nicole, this is mostly from you. This is capturing the essence of what you and all the dear friends that came to Bangkok experienced. And I want to share them with you. Life is precious. Life is short. Although it doesn't seem that way. I know people say that, but I disagree. I don't even remember. It's not short. Like, sorry, I didn't put that in there. It's not short. Solomon had a really long life. He did. And I'm going to have an extremely long life, because I already feel like I've lived a whole life. This is like a whole rebirth for me. Like, really, I get to keep going? Okay, let's do it. I'm signed up. Death is certain, but the time of death is uncertain. All we have is now. Hope you guys take that with you, because it's the only thing keeping me going some days. Is all we have is now, the present moment. Solomon was one who understood this not as words, but as a way of being. Because of that, his way of being was a deep well from which sprang a fountain of energy and compassion. Solomon's waves of compassionate energy made other people happy. This is another good one. I'm going to read it twice. When people are happy, they make other people happy. When people are happy, they make other people happy. It is a selfless act. It really is. Give it away. It's not yours to keep. It's everybody's. Solomon's waves of happiness are self-replicating and regenerating, spreading in all directions, and are timeless and deathless. Solomon is not just Solomon. Solomon is his interaction with everyone his energy and love touched. Everyone touched by Solomon was changed by Solomon. And in that way, Solomon is part of all those he touched. Solomon lives in all those he touched, whether near or far, whether directly or indirectly. We cannot understand Solomon's passing through reason or rationality. Trust me, I've tried. There's no reason, there's no rationality. It's not worth going there. It just is what is. But we can understand it through our feelings, through our love for his life, and through the grief we feel at his death. But I know this, that Solomon did not want to leave us grieving too long. Let's respect him that way. Let's let Solomon continue to be a source of happiness, energy, love, and compassion. Let's continue to be enriched by his life, not diminished by his passing. Grief feels like it stabs the heart, but what it really does is carve out the heart, opening and creating greater capacity for love, compassion, and understanding. Let's thank Solomon for enriching our lives with his life and opening and enlarging our hearts with his passing. Let's try to make Solomon's way of being our way of being. Make it so. Make it so. Make it so. Thank you for listening.
It's an honor to be here today. I was a friend of Solomon's from high school and played music with him. And this song came to me in a dream a few weeks after that gathering on the mountain when we grieved for Solomon and remembered him. I'm not held back by
he's not him.